Wow, will this be a seismic shift of U.S. policy? What does Netanyahu hope to gain out of this meeting?
Well, Netanyahu first meets Trump in the Oval Office around noon. Then the two have lunch. Then he meets Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan on Capitol Hill. So he's getting a big welcome mat. And that's a big change from what we saw under Obama. You remember Obama was marked by all of these incidents where Obama let Netanyahu kind of stew a little bit before they met. And then Netanyahu addressed Congress right up into the lead up of the nuclear deal. So above all, this is a trip about it's a reset button. Netanyahu's going and he's hoping to restart relations. As to your question about the seismic shift, I think it's too early to tell. It certainly would be if it was true. They could also be providing cover for Netanyahu, who's under intense pressure from the right. Clearly, U.S. position has yet to be stated, and things are changing quickly. But I think Bibi is going into this seeking to just reset relations, start over, and know that when that phone rings, he's got a friendly voice on the other side.
The other big issue with global implications, both in terms of business and politically, is what's happening with Iran. It's going to feature in the conversations between the two leaders. Do we know at this point whether there's a consensus around how to position, have a unified position on Iran, on the Iranian issue?
I think they're unified in the sense that they both don't want Iran projecting so much hard power in the region or soft power. I mean, I think there's real unanimity on that front, and they've both been very forceful. To me, it'll be interesting where the daylight is on the nuclear deal, because in the lead up to the deal, Israel was very opposed to it, and Trump was opposed to it. And once it was signed, Israel now seems to be coming back a little bit and talking more about enforcement and containment. And so that's obviously going to dominate the talks. It'll be a big issue. It's a little bit of a thorny one as well, because in Syria, Russia is cooperating with Israel's sworn enemies. And Trump has said that he would like to have better relations with Russia. So everything is tied in. Iran, Russia, the nuclear deal. It's obviously going to dominate the discussions, and I think I'll be looking to the tone of the comments after they meet to see what it might mean.
Andrew, and just earlier you mentioned that Prime Minister Netanyahu is being pressured by his country's right. So what would constitute a victory for the Prime Minister on this trip?
Well, he's under probably more pressure than he's ever had under his leadership. He's being pressured on the right. He's emboldened the opposition. All of these probes have really led to a much stronger opposition than we've seen. And so I think for Netanyahu, to answer your question, a win would be going to the U.S. and showing that he's got Trump's ear, showing that he can best represent Israel's interests. And maybe distract a little bit from all of this pressure that he's feeling at home. And then second, as I said earlier, reset the relations so that going forward, Netanyahu knows he's got somebody that he can call or vice versa, and they can quickly kind of influence each other and get things done.